My name is Dr. Wood, the author of the book Miracles in Minutes. I'm a chiropractor by trade, a psychology major in undergrad, and I study cognitive neuroscience for fun. So I'm going to start releasing some videos to help people. And this video is going to be about how to do well in life, good mental health, good physical health, good relationship health, or how to win. And you can't win if you don't understand what the hell you're talking about, or how the brain works. So we live our life through our nervous system. We have perception. We interpret reality. We make decisions, and based upon decisions, we take actions. Input, process, output. Have these thoughts, these actions, they produce this result. Well, a lot of people don't realize that, fail to realize, real eyes really see, what the hell's going on. And all human beings are born blind, deaf, and dumb. As the Bible said, they have eyes to see but don't see, and ears to hear but don't hear. Just turn to me and I will heal you. So I'm going to kind of use a little bit of philosophy, cognitive neuroscience, anatomy, some physiology to help explain all these things. And once we kind of get an understanding how it works, I'm going to take something that's very, very complex over a series of videos and kind of break them down into little, videos like this. So you have something, so you can learn something. Number one, there's nothing wrong here. Until you gain this sense of awareness, you're really gonna have a hard time in life. And that's what caused me to read a lot of these things, because I don't like getting my ass kicked, So I didn't know some things. So anyway, let's start out with concept number one, is that there's a triune God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and we have something called a triune brain, okay? So there's triune meaning three brains. We have a reptilian brain, as the Bible said, the serpent of old, the devil, and he's against God, the upstairs brain. So the reptilian brain is also, we can think of as our inner child. It's also known as our ANS, autonomic nervous system. So you don't have to use the cortex, upstairs brain, the thinking brain, words brain, decision-making brain. You don't have to decide how to make your heart beat. You don't have to decide how much cholecystokinin to release from your gallbladder to break down those French fries, some fatty foods. So somebody's doing it, and that's this brain. It controls the body, controls our breathing, our circadian rhythms, our physical health, and a lot of our mental health. How does it think? Should I eat it? Should I kill it? Should I screw it? That's it. Basic survival. What do you need? Food, water, shelter, oxygen, sex, called drives. Because if humans don't procreate or have sex and have babies, then we all die. We wouldn't survive as a race. You need oxygen. You only got 5 minutes. You need water. You need shelter. Survival brain. So above that is the limbic brain, or emotional brain. We can think of that as our rebellious teenager. Fear, pride. The original biblical story was the devil, serpent, he was all puffed up and he fell from heaven. So fear and pride were the original sins. God asked man, Adam, where are you? And Adam said, I am hiding. I withdrew. I withdrew where? Inside my head. God said, whatever you do, don't listen to eat of the tree of knowledge. Don't believe everything that you think. So all information, we have two worlds to manage. Inside world, what's going on inside our body, your heart's beating, you're digesting food, and blood's flowing, and maybe just ran on the treadmill or something. And then we have an outside world of what we brought in from our five senses, what we see, smell, touch, taste, hear, and then all that information comes in here first. And I ask one question: safe, not safe. Okay, not okay. To be at ease or to be at dis-ease. To be at love or to be at fear. The whole system is black or white. And even a whole division of psychology called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is based upon the reptilian brain and the emotional brain of how it thinks. It interprets the world binary. So one of the ways it would do that would be called all or nothing thinking. People are all good or all bad. Remember, the Bible said as soon as they ate the tree of knowledge, they knew good, or and it says and bad, but it actually should be or bad, a better interpretation. Good or bad. What human's all good? Nobody. Only God's perfect, according to the Bible. And what human's all bad? Even the worst person in the world might do one or two good things in their life. Maybe, maybe. But nobody's all bad. You know what I mean? But that's the way those brains think that way. You can see, like, you get in an argument with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. They do one thing, it makes you angry. Your brain then pulls up from your resources. It's called a gestalt, things that are like that in the past. It brings them all to this moment, and all of a sudden, they're all bad. You make one mistake. You failed a test, and you say something like, here's black or white thinking. I can never, that's an absolute, do anything, that's another absolute, right. You failed one test. Well, I failed another one before. I failed another one before in the past. Yeah, but like over your time, you say you can't do anything right, like nothing, zero. Can you tie your shoes? Can you put your clothes on? You can see how the brain distorts. So what did God say about the devil, the serpent of old, the reptilian brain? He's a liar and a thief, and he distorts and twists reality. The lower two brains are error prone and distort and twist reality, and it filters with all or nothing thinking. A mental filter. It takes everything you've done good. You ever dated somebody or been with someone in a relationship, you've done all these things for them and like cook for them, you helped them, picked them up when they're sick, you made soup, you bought them this, you took them on a trip, and all of a sudden you do one thing and all that's out the window. It's like you never did anything right ever. Zero. They give you this much credit. Zero, a loving person, and now you're all bad. Well, that's a mental filter. The brain, lower two brains, have a negativity bias. It's not looking for what's right. It's looking for what's wrong. And the reason why that's done that way, because the lower two brains, just like the biblical story was, Satan, the serpent in the garden, the reptilian brain says, you don't need God. The upstairs brain, the thinking mind, you're God. Now, humans, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, after food, water, shelter, and oxygen, we have some emotional needs. We have a need for belonging, not fitting in, Brene Brown's work. And we have a need for love. Most people think they know what love is, but most people don't. They know what fear is. I was worried about you. That means I love you. Now that's called worry. That's fear is what? That's called fear. Worry is fear. I did all these things for you. How could you? Well, you want me to do something for you, that's guilt. And you're using obligation. Or I feel sorry for somebody. Well, that's pity. That's not love. Pity's not love. Doing things for other people. That's how we get people pleasing. That's where we get dysfunctional relationships, where you got a people pleaser and the old doormat who's taught that you don't matter and give, and you hook up with a narcissist who loves to take. They're thieves. And eventually it doesn't work. In the beginning it does. But we're all this is because of these distortions. We're not thinking clearly, jumping to conclusions. One piece of information recalled from something in our past. You're not living in the present moment. You're quickly going through, the brain has something called heuristics or shortcuts, or you might call them prejudices, based upon the past, this happened in the past. Therefore, it'll be like this in the future. I'm jumping to conclusions that this house has a good roof. Let's buy it. It's a good investment. You didn't stop, pause, and plan and ask some questions, which requires cortex function, to discern, is this a good deal or not? Should I be in this relationship or not? And it takes time to do that. So love requires work, and it requires curiosity, and it requires exploration. Our mind cannot stand unknowns. The greatest fear of all is death. And what's death? The great unknown. So what does it do? It'll make up a story so quickly you can get to calming yourself down, self-soothing mechanism, but from a coping strategy that you jump to conclusions. Now you know what it is, and you're impulsive. And who's the first president of the United States? Abraham Lincoln. I couldn't wait to answer. Impulsive. The lower two brains are impulsive. Very fast, automatic, and all that stuff. So, and then there's emotional reasoning, that feelings are facts. Well, where are feelings at? Feelings are in the limbic brain. Where's fact what's thinking clearly. It's in the upstairs brain, or system 2, the God brain. So there's a book out there called Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow by, Thinking Fast and Slow by Dr. Daniel Kahneman. Won the Nobel Prize in Behavioral Economics, and talked about that first system, reptilian brain and mammal brain, are known as System 1. It's fast, it's automatic, it's intuitive, it jumps to conclusions, and it's error prone. You brush your teeth, the alarm clock goes off in the morning. You have a habit. That's this system. You get up, you turn on the water, or maybe you grab your toothbrush first, or maybe you grab the toothpaste first. Whatever you do your morning, or maybe you go piss first, or maybe you shower first, and then you brush your teeth. But you have a morning routine, which is called a habit, that you could be half awake and get her done. You could drive your car after you know how, and play with the radio, put your makeup on, do your lipstick, all that stuff, and don't even remember going to work. You're talking on the phone, having a lengthy conversation, all the while you're driving. That's all running from this automatic, subconscious, long-term memory, where you've already have a program put into your brain called driving a car. You have a program that you focused on in the beginning. You couldn't brush your teeth. Watch a small kid try to brush your teeth. They have to focus a lot. First time you ride a bike, you have to focus a lot. So we're not born knowing everything. Okay. So there's four types. Unconscious incompetence. You don't know what a bike is, and you can't ride a bike. Can a baby ride a bike? They can't even say bike. They become conscious competent. They know what a bike is, but they've never, I read a book on how to ride a bike. I can tell you how the pedals work and all that stuff. And you're supposed to hold all the handles and all that stuff. And you're supposed to balance and pedal and balance and laugh and have fun with your friends. Well, show me ride the bike. I only read the book. Okay. So the only way you really get it is actually you have to do it. And then, you don't, so then there's conscious incompetence. You know what a bike is, you understand the concept, but then you have to do it. You actually have to do it. Whether it's riding a bike, shooting a gun, brushing your teeth, playing sports, you have to do it. And then there's conscious competence, where you shoot the basketball, you finally put it in the net, but a master focuses on not that you got it, but they keep shooting till they can't get it wrong. That's mastery, and that takes a long time, and that's a lot of practice. So that goes from unconscious incompetence. I was born, I'm a baby, I don't know what a bike is, I can't even spell bike, I can't ride a bike. I become maybe like 5, 3. I know what a bike is, but I can't ride the bike. I practice. I become conscious. I know what a bike is. I practice, mommy and daddy. And I finally one day it clicks, and I can ride the bike. But I'm not riding wheelies or anything like that. And I still have some trouble braking or something like that, So then eventually becomes conscious incompetence, that you can ride the bike, chew the gum, drive your car, and put on your lipstick and play with the radio and talk on the phone at the same time. That's the way it works. But that's all. You have to focus first, and you have to use system 2, which is slow. Like if you're trying to teach a kid math, you wouldn't start them out with like, my kid's bored, and at the age you're gonna start school, and I would teach them math. We'll start with calculus. Slow down. You might need to slow down and let the brain catch on. They don't even know the concept of math, and maybe start with the fundamentals, teach them how to count to 10. So it's slow. It requires effort. It's analytical, logical, and deliberate. Focused, and it is accurate thinking. The wise mind is upstairs. Guys, God is wise, all-knowing. Metaphorically, God lives up heaven. He lives upstairs. The cortex is upstairs. See? Heaven above, hell below. Got it? Upstairs brain, downstairs brain. And I'll show you that concept right now. The upstairs brain, downstairs brain. Boom. See, upstairs brain, where logic is, and impulse control and reasoning or thought. It's also, when someone's loving, they're considerate. They think before they act. Good judgment. Input, process, output, and they observe the output. Most people can't observe the output. They're so focused on trying to be right because they're trying to protect the ego, which is still an immature mind. The downstairs brain is where fear exists, fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, and anger exist. What is fawning? Fawning, you might call it a people pleaser. There's a bully in school. You become friends with him so that way he don't beat you up. You give him your lunch money. You're just nice to people. You're a people pleaser. You're nice to people so that way nobody says anything mean to you. It's also a way to insurance policy to some degree, an attempt to get love, because it's a core need, love, that we need love. But actually where love truly exists is not in the lower two brains. Let's see if I got the right one here. Might be in this one. Sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Here it is. So when they did cognitive neuroscience, they did functional MRI scans of the brain. Love, what's the Bible say? God is love. God brain, the wise brain. God lives in heaven, upstairs. So that, what does the Bible also say? Perfect love casts out fear. So the prefrontal cortex does fear modulation, and it does love, and God's name is I am. Moses said, God, what's your name? He said, I am. I am who I am. I am also, like the verb tense, is the present moment. So a lot of times when we get fear or our emotions are so powerful, Dr. Jonathan Haidt, who wrote the book Happiness Hypothesis, explained the conscious mind like us as the writer. The emotional brain like this elephant. Emotions are very, very strong. If you have a ring on, it's your wedding ring, 5-carat diamond, and it slips off your finger as you're standing in a river and you start to panic, you muddy the water and you can't see the truth or the ring. So people get highly emotional. What it does, it actually turns off the upstairs brain. The brain that thinks accurately. The brain that modulates anxiety. The brain that dampens down fear. The brain that if it's turned on, we have a sense of ecstasis or euphoria. A sense of well-being for good mental health, good decision-making, good physical health, good relationship health. All that happens when God's turned on. So let's see if I can't find that for you real quick. Where high emotion turns off. Blah 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 blah. Well, I got to show you here that here's a brain scan of chronic depression and a healthy brain, and notice that the brain that has chronic depression, there's no blood flow to God, to the cortex. High emotion, love, fear, anger, high emotion turns this off, throws the rider off, kicks him out. Healthy brain happens when we are in a state of calm. What we never, or very few people have taught us, is soothing in a healthy way. A lot of people soothing is in denial and avoidance, which is not turning to or turning towards. The lower two brains seek pleasure, avoid pain. When people are in pain, and greatest fear is the unknown, which is death. So the brain makes up a story, in a coping strategy, or if that's not working, just tell me everything's gonna be all right. Just tell me everything's gonna be all right. Or maybe it's drugs. Maybe you go shopping. So just try to avoid facing ourselves. And what we've done is we've abandoned our own soul. We've abandoned our own inner child. See, the inner child in every human being never goes away, no matter how old you are. And the love and the perfect, so a lot of people blame their parents for the way they are, but our parents could never live up to our unrealistic expectations. They couldn't always be there for us. So it creates judgments. We have judgments about our parents, we have judgments about our friends, we have judgments about ourselves, judgments about our spouse, because we're still thinking those lower two brains. And it's not we're not thinking clearly. There are some people who are assholes. I'm not saying getting involved with a relationship who's a narcissist and just turn the other cheek. Well, that's a bad idea with them. You give them license and they'll just abuse you more. Those people need borders and boundaries, like the country. Enter this country illegally, you get kicked out. Come in here and just abuse me physically or emotionally or sexually and financially and all those things and just exploit me. Your own soul knows it's not right, and resentment builds up and the relationship ends. Or a narcissist will they do idolize, devalue, and discard. You could give them the whole world and they'll still throw you away and cheat on you. And we can blame them or we can wise up. Blaming them makes you feel good, but unless you learn from it and spot the red flags or evaluate why you got into that situation to begin with, because we all want love. And most people think that love is outside. It's called external locus of control. People who need constant praise, that told that you're good, told that you're wonderful. What are you, fucking 5 years old and you're still looking for your mom and daddy? Yes, you are. Those people are stuck in their childhood and they never grew up and they never learned to acknowledge themselves. And some people will tell you that it's wrong to love yourself. There's loving yourself in a healthy way and a lot of yourselves in an unhealthy way. But true love, you can't love other people until you have love to give. And the first person you have to give love to is yourself. And that's what causes, God says, I want my people to be holy. Holy from Latin, integer or integrated, where the upstairs brain integrates with the downstairs brain. Heaven and earth meet. Or as Aristotle said, a man's not truly, if you just educate the mind, not educate the heart or soul, it's no education at all. An integrated mind is emotional intelligence to understand our emotions, where nobody has a problem with, joy and laughter and winning the lottery and good sex. I wasn't for that. Oh, that's pleasure. I like that. But nobody wants to talk about death, grief, loss, and not doing so because they're uncomfortable emotions. And then we labeled them as bad versus an emotion. Dr. Susan David wrote the book Emotional Agility. And until we learn to be good parents, to be good friends, and to be a good relationship ourselves, is we have to have some courage, because we want to run away. That's fight, flight response. Or we try to fight our emotions, suppress them, deny them, ignore them, or try to beat them up, or make ourselves wrong. So now we're fighting ourselves. Neither running away from ourselves, ignoring ourselves, or fighting ourselves, or making a deal with the devil. None of that works, fawning. Instead of, we have to lean in with curiosity. And we have to remove what we've made it mean from the past, because if you already said this always means that, if this, then that, then there's no space for a new understanding. No way to learn from this. We're still stuck with a absolute judgment of something that maybe happened when we were 5 years old. And now anything or something similar to this always means that. And so a lot of times we're scaring ourselves. As I forgot who it was, I think it's Mark Twain, says we 90% of the stuff that we ever imagine never happens, something like that. Or maybe it was Epictetus or Seneca, I can't remember. But more than one person has said that. And what it is, we're not really looking at those first thoughts that come out of the fear mind and the pride mind that catastrophize. And you have a headache, and obviously it's a tumor and you're gonna die and nobody loves you and you're gonna be homeless. Because that brain, I have a headache, and the brain, as soon as I have a headache, open the door, give me a girlfriend. Anytime you use a word, the brain's always looking to say, what does it mean? What does it mean? It pulls up its memory banks, it defines it, and then based upon that definition, and think about how it worked in the past, or your personal experiences, your personal perspectives, and that's how you see the world. And then you're only seeing it like this. You're seeing the world through, like looking at the whole universe through a little pinhole over here. That's the way those lower two brains work. They filter it, they distort it, and you're not seeing life as it is and is not. So how do we get out of this? There's a couple of different ways. Or else we'll be stuck in hell. You know, anxiety, depression, and we're going to fail in our relationships, because what's natural is, you know, also in the biblical thing was that, you know, you could be God and God lives in heaven, and the false belief that all humans have, there's only those who are perfect are worthy of love. So then people make an image to appear good, to appear as a good person, to appear perfect, try to create a perfect world. Then it means if you create the perfect world, you have to control the world. And if you're in a relationship with somebody else, you have to control them, and you control your kids, because you're trying to make it go as since you're God, you have to control the whole world. You have to control everybody and every situation and circumstance, because the fear of the unknown. If you control everything and keep it knowns, you feel safe. Well, that requires a lot of juice, and other people don't like it after a while. Some people will accept it because they're just total doormats. They'll do anything for love, but they're not really happy in the relationship, and neither are you. And this is highly dysfunctional. But that's the way a lot of relationships go. But you'll never get out of hell. And no matter how much you medicate your soul in antidepressants and anti-anxieties, your soul knows that you're missing something important called love. And you're looking outside to meet the need that only God can meet, that God brain can meet. Once we start doing that, and that this conversation, I'm not going to continue to go on, because for a lot of people, that was a lot of data, a lot of big points. The purpose of this is not to tell you what to think. It's to tell you some of the things that I've read. It's the way I understand things. I would say my gift from God is I'm pretty good at taking some of this real complex shit and make it understandable that just about anybody can relate to. And my purpose is to help other people, and hopefully other people can smile and laugh too, and enjoy their lives and have love and better relationships with themselves first. Because you can't give away what you don't have. The love that you can only love people at the depth that you love yourself. Brene Brown says that. I mean, if I need $1 million, you only got 5. All you give me is 5. You know, you can't give me any more than what you got. You know, and to judge ourselves for that's all we have to give, that's stupid too. But to start removing all the judgments of our own soul, to heal ourselves, our soul, our spirit, our mind, our emotions, and it greatly affects your body too, because anytime we picked not safe, God said, surely the day that you eat of the tree of knowledge, surely ye shall die. And like, no, I didn't. I'm still here. God didn't say right away. Damn it, it's in this one. Oof. Oh, sorry. It's in this one. So, so the day that we picked fear, Adam, where are you? I'm afraid. It pushes a button in the brain. It automatically activates the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. So when we push the button, fear, here it is right here, high emotion turns off the cortex. If the cortex stays off long enough, by the way, a new study came out, people who have chronic anxiety triple the risk of dementia. What's dementia? No brain, no cortex. Did I pass over it? Damn it. Anyways, so let me say something. When you push the button, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, it automatically activates high adrenaline. So your heart starts beating faster. Is that love or is it anxiety? You know, if you have an anxiety attack, your heart beats really fast. It causes vasoconstriction, which is the arteries get smaller to pump blood faster. And where's the blood? It's gonna move away from our gut or your core, your spine. You get indigestion because it takes a lot of blood to digest food. And the blood moves to the arms to fight or to the legs to run. Because the brain, whether you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or a crocodile, or you just got fired from your job, if you don't know how to process, or divorce, or anything you feel a threat to your life, As soon as you pick threat, it automatically, one twin powers activate: fight, flight, freeze, fawn, high adrenaline, high cortisol. So the blood starts pumping, your blood pressure goes up, your pulse rate goes up, the arteries constrict, higher rates of heart attack, higher rates of stroke. Blood moves away from the gut, so indigestion, irritable bowel syndrome. The problem is in the gut, and all the research out there says that 70% of our immune system's in the gut. So higher rates of cancer, higher rates of getting sick, autoimmune diseases. 70% of dopamine, which is pleasure and motivation, is in the gut. So you might not be too motivated, might have apathy, and that could lead to more depression, or you don't do anything. And 90% of our serotonin, SSRIs, what people were given for antidepressants, serotonin reuptake inhibitors, only 10% of the serotonin is in the brain, 90% is in the gut. So when the gut gets turned off, fight, flight, freeze, blood moves away to arms for the fight, to legs to run. So we've become disconnected from our gut, our soul. We've lost our decreased our immune system, decreased our motivation in life, and more likely to get sick, and also decrease our sense of well-being, serotonin, our general happiness, and just state of contentment. So obviously it's hell, right? God said, surely the day you eat of it and believe this, just believe everything you think. That's why God said you have to be born again, think again. It's called metacognition, to think about your thinking. And as Viktor Frankl said, there's a space between stimulus and response, but most people have to create the God mind, the observing mind, because when the threat response comes in, we get tunnel vision and our oscillars turn off. We're not listening to outside things anymore. We're staring directly at the threat. Tunnel vision, myopic, it's only this way, confirmation bias, all kinds of thought errors and abnormal thinking, because you're just trying to escape the threat, and they're listening to the looping and continue to believing and continue thinking, and you're blinded by emotions. That's got to get the ring that I fell in the lake over here. I should struggle more. I'm drowning. I'm panicking over here. I'm fighting the water harder. Well, you're gonna die. But if you just relax and breathe, you'll float. I didn't say you'd be Michael Phelps, swimmer. So the same thing of like any time we get the fight, flight, freeze response. Oh, by the way, the high cortisol shrinks the brain shrink. It's also known as memory loss and Alzheimer's dementia. Causes have belly fat. The fight, flight, freeze response tells the liver to kick out sugar, insulin insensitivity, diabetes type 2, weight gain around the belly, and insomnia, can't sleep at night. So you're not sleeping well when the body repairs, your blood sugar's running too high, which also destroys, surely the day you eat the tree of knowledge, or just believe what the lower two brains are thinking, surely you will die. And the devil came to seek and destroy everything in your life that was good. Your love, your peace, your contentment, your relationships. That's just how the lower two brains, because they twist. It thinks very primitive. So we need God, the God brain, which thinks clearly. You got to create that space to come out of your head. You can do breathing techniques like Navy SEAL. They use box breathing. You can use heart math, HERT, MATH. You can use Qigong. You can do Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McCowan. There's a lot of different breathing techniques, pranayama. Pick one that works for you to help that you use to calm you down. But the breathing's first, and then some journaling, and then art come out of your head and like, what do I see? Like I see a plant, and don't even name the plant. So practice just seeing things without having to label them or judge them. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What can I taste? Or you could practice even like drinking water. A lot of people drink water, but very few people taste the water. And this is all part of using the cortex to begin a very easy way to begin developing emotional intelligence, is where you observe the water. Where did it go? What did it feel like? How did it move across your tongue? Can you describe it in words? A lot of people would say, what did it feel like? It felt wet. What the hell's wet mean? And where did it go in your body? How did it go across your mouth? Could you trace it going down your throat into your belly? That requires you to use the observing mind to observe the feelings, which integrates the two brains. You might call that emotional intelligence. You start to know yourself. You start to know your feelings, and underneath feelings and emotions. And underneath emotions is physiology. All an emotion is that, is it love or is it anxiety? Where did it start? And my heart was going beep 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 beep, and my stomach was going flippity flop. And how did that sensation move across your body? Very few people have ever sat with that. They don't know. This is what I call it. So they kind of it's like talking about riding a bike but can't. They talk about love, but they don't know what it means. They talk about it, a feeling, but they're uncertain. So who don't they know? They don't know themselves. Well, how can you have somebody else love you, and how can you communicate your needs and your feelings if you're in poor connection or relationship with you? It's going to be really hard. So you're going to have most people talk, they don't communicate. Why did the marriage fail? Communication. Most people are in poor communication themselves. So this is all from a brain science perspective. Hopefully you like this video. You comment at the bottom. Please like and subscribe and share away to all your friends. This is all about helping people take away the fear of anxiety and depression, and you're not doing so well at life, or you have chronic physical health problems or mental health problems, or just you want to get a handle on something. I'm here to remove the fear. I'm here to empower you by helping you understand something that's complicated, but hopefully I made it simple. Have a good one.